Hello, family. Welcome to another great episode of The Good Word with yours truly, Mr. Frederick. All right, family, I'm going to get right into it today. Let's see here. Today's topic is going to be they hate that you have always been that one. All right, family, let me get into it. All right. So, when I say they hate, I mean individuals that you came up with probably early on and then later on in your life. You know, when you have a certain calling, when you have a certain gift, when you have God's hand on you, okay, you are going to carry a light with you. And people could try to dim it, they could try to deny it, they could try everything all your life to try to stomp on it, whatever. It never works. No matter what they do, it won't work. And it's only one reason why that's the case, family. That's because God has his hand on you. He gave you a gift. He has a purpose for you. He uses you throughout your life in this way. And again, it's not to say that you are perfect. Okay, you're a human, you're a man. But at the same time, you're doing his work. All right, family. So I'm going to break it down to you. When I say that one, I mean that is the gift that God has given you, okay? And so what you will find is that early on in your life, usually the enemy, the adversary will try to attack you early on in life because you're your most vulnerable early. The people that take care of you, the people that should take care of you, the people that should be your caretakers, the ones that instill safety, all of those good attributes, love, security, faith, all of those, a lot of times that is what the enemy will use. The adversary will use those very individuals to hurt you, to lie, to abuse, mistreat you. And, of course, they're going to cover it up because everything is used by the adversary is done in the dark. Everything, any ill deeds, anything they do bad is always in the dark. Okay, so these are individuals that the adversary can work through to try to get your mind, get your spirit, get your confidence, get all of that. But the good news is God gives you so many gifts that it doesn't work. He gives you discernment. You have this early on, family. It's not like you can develop it later in life, but a lot of times people have these gifts early. So you have discernment, you have that heart, you have that love, you have that ability to forgive, all these attributes, kindness, all the fruit of the spirit you have. And so you will see that comparing, that doesn't work because you value yourself. So they'll try to compare you to, but that doesn't work because you have a strong sense of your own soul and who you are. You love that. You're not trying to be like someone else, or you don't compare yourself. You literally don't, even as a kid, you don't even think like that. You might have your weak moments because as a kid, you're still building, but you still have such a strong sense of self and your work, your soul, your center of your soul is so powerful that nothing can really break it or make you think otherwise. But again, the enemy works through these individuals to try to get you to fall for that, but you never will. So you'll see these things first of all, let me say your family's going to be your biggest haters, especially early on. They're going to be your biggest haters because that's, again, an adversary could work through them to try to get to you. People, strangers, of course, you don't respect strangers. You don't know them. They don't have any value to you. So adversary really can't use them as much. So he tries to use your family and the ones that aren't walking in that spirit or just they're not like you. How Kendrick Lamar say, not like us. We'll leave it at that. They're just not like you. So he'll work through them and they will be your biggest haters, fam, no doubt. Now you have some friends early on too that'll be that way as well. But again, they don't hold the same weight and value as your family do. So you got to know that family is that's no control. You had no control. That's your relatives. That's blood. That doesn't mean that in the spirit they're your family. No, that's not your family. If they don't have those attributes, okay, those individuals that were put here to stop you, to try to stop your walk, stop your purpose. That's all their goal was. That's all there. And then, when that doesn't work, what do you get out of that? But nonetheless, they'll try different things like trying to compare you, but again, none of that works because you're just comfortable in your own skin. So also, you'll see that individuals like that too that are supposed to support you, they will rejoice in your failures, your I don't even like to say failures, just your bad experiences, okay? I don't even like to use mistakes because we're learning here, okay? We're learning as we go. But these individuals will hop on any opportunity when something doesn't go your way. See, you didn't get that. See how that happened wrong. See how that, any kind of chance they get. Bad relationship, they all jump all over that. Because I said again in my last one of my videos, family, I said that you will see that you will pick individuals early on that will mirror the family of origin that you come from, because that's what you know. Even if you know it's bad, it's very unconscious that you're doing it because it's the way you feel inside that's similar to how they made you feel. And until you acknowledge this, you can't correct it. You'll keep repeating a pattern of putting people around you that gave you that same feeling, okay? Or even if it's a hot and cold feeling, like a good and bad, or unpredictable, emotional instability. That's why it's very hard to pick a quality mate for men and women if they did not have those parents that were emotionally stable, instill love, support, consistency in them. It's going to be very difficult, but it's not impossible. You just have to work on it. First, you have to recognize it. But these are real facts in psychology, family, okay? And you'll see that they'll rejoice in that. Any disappointment you have, they'll actually add to it, And of course, you don't have the best people around you that you pick, so they could play off each other, whatever. But again, that doesn't stop you because you're the one. You are the one. So none of that works. None of that, they could sleep with them and that, who cares? None of that works. You are not concerned about them to that level. You know that you have a greater purpose and a higher calling, and it's part of your journey. But they don't understand that because they're not even on your level of thinking and existing. So they're just kind of there to try to impede your progress. Nothing more. Nothing more. So that doesn't work. Jobs. You'll run into jobs. Okay, you'll have, and this is for my individuals that have that chosen quality, that one, that light. You'll go on jobs and you'll see, wow, every job, it's one person here that's just a hater. What in the world? I ain't doing anything to them, him or her. I'm just being me, minding my business. I really don't want any smoke. I don't want any, confrontation. I just want to go along my day, do my job, get paid, go home. No. That's not how the adversary works. He uses those opportunities anywhere you go. He uses that to jump into someone to try to stop you. So again, early on, it starts with family. Seeps into your relationships, friends, whatever. This is as a kid. Okay, but again, when you see this as you grow, you know that they can't stop you. And one of the reasons, because God gifted you with a great mind. Okay, a great mind, resilience, all these things. And that mind is what really can't be stopped as well, because you can logically figure out, wait a minute, even as a kid, I didn't do anything to this person. Why this person is so mad at me? You can't logically figure out, why is an adult mad at me or seem to have animosity towards me? I didn't do anything to them. Do my parent talk about their kid like that? No, you see all of the, you have the ability to interpret and discern. So you see hate. You see like, this is a hater. And you like looking like, okay, look at this person. It's comical to you almost. But you want to be respectful to them because they're your elders. And at that time, you're thinking you need to be respectful. And you should to an extent. But, of course, at some point, you're like, man, please, I don't care what, relation to me. You're nothing to me, and you got to treat it like that at a certain point. But you did the right thing when you were young. But you would logically always be able to discern, this is hate. This is not love. This is not coming from anything godly. It's coming from something demonic. And you are correct, because God gave you that gift of discernment early. So you could see these spirits in these individuals early on. And you see them on jobs. You're like, why is it always one? Every job is always one that has no reason to be this way towards me. They don't even know me. But that's what it is. It's that same spirit jumping into an individual to try to make your walk more difficult. to try to impede your progress. Stop your calling. And like I said, they'll jump into your mates. If you get with someone, especially if you're getting with them fornication for the wrong reasons. And that's what the adversary uses. He uses your disobedience to the Lord to attack you. So you give an opening. That's why I say resist the devil and he shall flee. You give an opening by certain things you do, that you open a door to, by being around certain types of individuals. Okay, what do you think you're going to get if you go to a brothel? You're going to get a whore. That's just what it is. Okay, I don't mean to be so graphic, but hey, I got to keep it real with my people. So none of this can ever define you, though. So you see the balance here. You get a lot of hate being that one, but you have all the tools and all the equipment to counter it. You have the mind to discern. You have good logic, good common sense. You're gifted as a young child, and you have examples. You see hate, you see, things. It might not make you feel comfortable or good when you encounter it, but you know what it is. You know it's not good. That's all you need to know. And it never defines you. You'll go to school, same thing. And a lot of times, again, coming up in these dysfunctional, abusive families, you might not do the best in school, but it never defines you. You're super smart. You can get tested and being gifted, and it doesn't even matter to you. You know what you have. So any of that kind of stuff, it never defines you. A test doesn't define you, even though you might test very well. You might not. It really does. It's irrelevant. Your mind is on another level early on. Always gifted, always. And that's another target for hate, is that if someone cannot break your mind, like try to tell you who you are because of this or whatever, and they looking at that like, his person doesn't believe me. You never believe them because your mind is on another level. You're like, wait a minute, I know exactly why I did poorly in that time period. I know exactly. I actually should be rewarded for a good idea. But again, when you're on different levels in individuals, they can't even comprehend where you're at, okay? So you never believe nothing they say. You know exactly where it's coming from. You know exactly the root of it. And that is what makes you who you are. You're given those gifts. So school, work, you're going to have haters, all those places. It's never going to work. That's just what it is. Too much is given, much is required, family. So when you know who you are and you know that you're that one, yes, you get a lot of hate and abundance, and it starts early on. But the gift is that it never works. It never works. Even with the relationships. Once you start to hit your groove as you get older, you will start to check yourself and see, okay, well, I see the opening that I gave for this. I did this wrong. You start to be able to, because you follow the Spirit, you follow the Lord, and when you stay righteous, you are gifted that discernment. To his most righteous is gifted discernment. So you're able to see, okay, if I don't go here, if I don't get with this person because of this, if I don't break this law, I'm not going to have this happening, because that's how it works. You open up by doing certain actions. If I'm not smoking, if I'm not drinking, if I'm not doing this, okay, who does those things? Who does the fornication? Who does all of those things? These are sinful acts that are going to open up nothing but destruction. Okay, so this is what you will start to learn as your walk becomes more aligned with who you embodying that spirit. And that takes time, family. So the walk is not one of rushing. You're not rushing anything. You're taking time. You're on your schedule, God's schedule for you. So it's not a thing of trying to keep up with someone, no. It's your schedule, your time, you and God. No one else can tell you about that. And understand, this is why God always protected your mind, body, and soul. He'll let things happen just to kind of wake you up. And like, okay, you see what you did right here, right? You see you went over here and you shouldn't have did that. God will let these things happen on purpose, family, because he's trying to get you to get the point. So he'll correct you because he loves you. Okay, so you continue your path. You continue your mission, doing his work. That's how it works. But that's the price. You will start to see, when I do this, I get this. That's just how it goes. And understand that The relationships and things of that nature are going to be key. They're going to be key because it started that way in your life with the bad relationships with, fake family, whatever, people sent by the adversary or have the adversary working within them. Okay. So that is actually what prepares you throughout your life. It's like your boot camp. It's your training because like I grew up around these haters. So when you start to understand and make the connection that, okay, wow, these are similar energies. I seen that spirit early. That's the dichotomy of it. On one end, that spirit, that energy is very familiar to you. So you are familiar with that negative energy, but you have to overcome your familiarity. It even speaks of familiar spirits, okay? In the good book, it speaks of spirits that are familiar. Beware of them because they're jumping. They're jumping from this person to that person to that person. The goal is to get you. Okay, the goal is to get you. And again, they'll use all sorts of different. That's why you have to stay as obedient as you can, because they're going to use all the sins, all of the ways that you go astray in order to get you. Fornication, alcoholism, again, all these in your family early on, adultery. Okay, all of these sins are in your family. This is how the curse of the generations go. Okay, your family was doing these things. People in your bloodline was doing these things. Okay, fornicating, sinning, adultery, alcoholism, all the things that destroy the body, the flesh, destroy the spirit ultimately. So how we represent our body is in representation of what's in our spirit. Okay, so when you start to understand this, that this is how these I would say cycles. This is how these curses were born. They were born by sin, by your bloodline doing certain sins, engaging in certain sins. And it becomes trapped. It becomes a family curse. It becomes a tradition. It becomes a cycle. And the only way you can break these things is by having someone stop them. Stop them, call them out, and set a new standard. And that person's not going to be liked. Oh, no doubt. He or she is not going to be liked by them. He's going to be the biggest enemy. Oh, he's a liar. Oh, he's crazy. Oh, they're going to come up with every lawful lying. They're going to come up with every daggone defiling, disparaging word that they could think of because they're working with the enemy. Okay. And truth is always going to be the enemy of the adversary. Adversary is the father of all lies. So darkness, evil, it consists and lives and grows in lies. Okay, when someone is a truth teller, when someone in that generation is the one that's like, nah, that's not true. You alcoholic. You this. You're an adulterer. You're a sinner. When someone is that kind of energy, that's God in them. That is the light in them. That is why they're the one. So yeah, they're going to be hated. They're going to be disliked. But that person doesn't care. That person don't like them neither. You see how God works? That person doesn't like them as well. That person's spirit never liked them. Because dark and light cannot dwell together. Okay, so one person telling the truth and like, hey, I tell all my stuff. I don't care. This is what it is. That person is not going to be able to walk together. I say two walk together in the same direction. No, they're unequally yoked. No, they can't. So what you got to understand is that that's part of it. It's part for the course, family. That's just what you get when you get all of these gifts, when you get your purpose and you walk in your call, and don't expect to be liked by no blood relative. Who cares? You don't care anyway, but don't expect it, and, you have all the tools to do what you got to do, because when you're a leader, when you are that one, when you do have that light, you're able to own it. You're able to wear it, good and bad. You really don't care either way, because you've been through so much in your life, family. You're so strong and you built up so much trust in the Lord and your walk and your calling that it's like spiritual muscle. That spiritual muscle can outweigh any of that resistance, any of that disparaging comments. You can care less. You don't have no respect for that. You don't have no sort of, you don't give it a listening ear. You know, you just really don't have any sort of, it doesn't resonate with you at all, you know. And again, you got to understand that you have a track record of seeing the fruits. So you see with individuals, family or relatives rather, you see with individuals you've been around, friends, former lovers, you see by their fruits. You'll see a pattern of, one, you'll see lies. You'll see so many lies. You'll be like, wait a minute, I didn't do that. That's not that happening. Hold on. This person did this, and wait a minute, they didn't tell you about that. They're telling you I did this, but they didn't tell you about. You'll see this constantly with every story someone says about you. It'll be key truths that'll be omitted, completely out of there. And that's for a reason. Those truths are omitted because you know who it's coming from. So whenever you see that, family, whenever you see half-truths, whenever you see someone manipulate, you can call it witchcraft, really, because that's really what it is. It's witchcraft. When someone tries to manipulate your reality or others, the masses' reality about who you are, but God will counter that and give you a bigger voice so more people will hear you than them. And then you get to discern, and you see people just want to believe what they want to believe. But again, they already got darkness in them anyway. So those individuals, they want to believe that because they are working for the devil. And that's what their father is. So again, you want to stay in the side of the light and a true family, and know that when you're that one, don't worry about it. You got everything you need, and you ultimately will not be stopped. Guys, check me out on Instagram, Sprouting Crowns, as well as Facebook and TikTok as well, under Mr. Frederick. Love what you're doing. Do what you love. Peace.